Lori, Late Night Lori from Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. And I'm coming to you on Monday at 11:59 p.m. / Tuesday the 20th at 12 a.m. But I started before midnight. I started to get everything set up. Let me just check my devices and hopefully we have sound. Oh, yes, we do. But I started before. All right, so one device is ready. Let me get my other device ready. We are almost there. Hello, Jeanette. Welcome back. I was just getting my other device set up. So welcome. So my granddaughter is staying over again tonight. She actually, yes, I remember Jeanette from Arkansas. I should write that down so that I can try to remember for next time, but I sure do appreciate the reminders. So let's write this down. Jeanette is from Arkansas. Sometimes when I write it down, it kind of imprints it on my brain and then I'm good to go for a while. So we'll see. We'll see how well I am at remembering. Oh, so usually what I do here, Jeanette, is I take the first couple of minutes and I go through some announcements. Thanks for the hearts. I appreciate that. I go through some of my announcements with upcoming things and whatnot. Hey, Juju. I think MacMan is probably snoring already. So, Jeanette MacMan is my husband. And he's not nearly the late night owl that I am. So, anyway, how I usually start this, Jeanette, is I go through some of my quickie announcements. I try to whiz through them pretty quick, but when there's new stuff, it takes me a little bit longer. But you can also go to my page. Are you a demonstrator or not? Or are you just or I shouldn't say just, are you a general crafter? Do you do Stampin' Up? Do you do other things? Juju, Crafting on the Back 40, that just joined us, is a junk journalist, mostly, although she's doing cards. And I did catch that, Juju. I didn't catch the whole thing yet, but I saw part of it. All right, so you know all the deal. So bear with me while I go through some of these things. But for those of you who are joining me live here and have not been here before, feel free to join the conversation. A lot of times we do it as a collaborative effort. Oh, doing cards, you're doing great. I love it. And I love that you change them up and make them yours. You know, that's what it's all about. That's what crafting's all about. But all of the Stampin' Up announcements and promotions that are going on, things that are coming up, you can find on my page or your own. And I'm at latenightlori.stampinup.net. So you've been doing cards for a very long time. That's awesome. And I'm going to back this up again a little bit here. And let me know when you want me to zoom in. So I had my most Monday open studio time today. It was super cold. And I think I might have forgotten to bring my sign in. It looks like MacMan brought my sign in. Otherwise, people might be knocking on the door right now. But I didn't start with Stampin' Up until like 2015. I was invited to a club with somebody I worked with. 2017, I joined because I wanted the deal. And I've been here ever since. So anyway, today we had our Monday open studio time. It was super, super cold. Linda was the only one that came and visited, but we had a great time. My granddaughter popped in and out. She did not have school today, so she popped in and out a little bit, but we had a great time. Wednesday, I've got my coffee and a card at, if you're local to me, those of you who, you know who you are. This will be at Cat's Coffee House. We have good time. We start at 10 in the morning, and we usually finish by about noon. We just have to be out of there before 2. That's all she asks for. On the 20th, I have a demo only event for, there was a challenge. And those that achieved the challenge were invited to this thing that technically is later tonight. So I've got that tonight. And then we have the virtual card retreat coming up on the 22nd and 23rd. So basically this is master classes with the folks at Stampin' Up! For 2 days for about 7 hours. You can still order your retreat kit. You'll get your designer series paper. The two-tone cardstock is all in there. There's cutting instructions on the back of those. You get a full pack of the basic white cardstock. There's 2 sheets of laser cut ephemera pieces that we'll be stamping. Embellishments. There's an exclusive stamp set. There's a preview bundle that was included in it. And I'm sure there's other stuff that I'm forgetting. But I'm looking forward to that. Anybody who is local to me that wants to do a watch party needs to let me know that they got their kit or they ordered it. Even if you haven't gotten it yet, you can still watch and, craft with what you have until your kit comes. But if you want to do a watch party, let me know, and I will have the studio open here in Wisconsin. Bonus days. Everybody knows about bonus days, hopefully, from January 6th until February 2nd. We are in the Earn 'em and Burn 'em Club. If you make a purchase of at least $50 before tax and shipping, you will earn a $5 coupon. So you can earn it, and then February 3rd to the 28th, you can burn it. Make sure that you use it in February or you lose it. So you can get, there's no limit on the number of bonus coupons you can get, and you still earn your Stampin' Rewards. So that's a pretty big deal. Product of the month. We played with this a little bit. I love the Scripty font. This requires a $75 purchase before tax and shipping, and then you have the option of adding that product to your cart for just $5. It's a different product every month. You are limited to 1. You can get 1 December. You can get 1 January. You can get 1 February. It doesn't matter what month you get it in if they're still available, but you can only get 1 of each product. And you do have to do separate orders. So let's say December's paper is still available and you want December's paper and January's stamp set. You have to do 2 separate orders because it will only let you put 1 product of the month per order. All right. So if you did a $150 order, you couldn't get both things on the same order. Hope that makes sense. Paper Pumpkin. If you are a subscriber, you are aware that you have access to add-on kits, past kits, refill kits, add-on dies that are available. This is the die set that's available for January, February, March. I have an extra set of dies that I ordered. Here's my set. Here's the extra set. If you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin through me by February 10th, which is when it closes, I will put your name in a drawing to get this as a gift from me. All right, so this is what they cut out. The sentiment on here is beautiful. And the dot to the I, you don't have to worry about losing it because it's all attached. This is all one piece, so you will not lose any little pieces. All right, we're almost through this. New catalog. This became live on January 6th. If you don't have one, if you don't have a catalog, either contact your demonstrator, or if you don't have a demonstrator, let me know. I would be more than happy to send you a catalog if you are in the United States. And I'm still going to try to get invites out for my team meeting on the 25th for a Zoom meeting. Not everybody on my team is local to me, so I'm going to try and see how these Zoom meetings go. I have to play with my zoom and my in-swan camera and see if I can figure all that out so that we can have a meaningful get together and talk to each other and maybe see each other and all the things. So this afternoon, we decided, Riley, my granddaughter, and I did, that we wanted to do a live because she wanted to do this new kit that came. It was on my doorstep this morning. I didn't expect to have any kits because it's a holiday and I just figured there would be no postal service. But lo and behold, this showed up on my porch from one mail carrier and an Amazon order showed up in the mailbox. So who knows? I don't know if they're getting overtime or what. But anyway, this is a beautiful kit. And Juju, you did awesome. I was trying to tell you, you have dimensionals. You have mini dimensionals. They came with, so I'm glad you found them. So this is the card that we did this afternoon. So we changed it up a little bit. Jeanette, you were here, and there was this piece here that we weren't quite sure how it really worked into the design, and none of us were really keen on it. So Juju, we just decided not to use it. And I thought I'd use the die that came with the add-on dies, and I just cut out a little postage piece. So I'll use that for some other thing. I just thought I'd give it a whirl. So the one thing with this first card, I'm not going to recreate this tonight. I'm going to continue with the other two cards in the kit. But I do want to point out a couple of other little differences that we did on this afternoon. So the instructions are not super clear right here. So let me back up. So for those of you who maybe aren't familiar with paper pumpkin kits, everything you need comes in the kit. If it's a stamping kit, well, I know, and you seem to think it was really pretty. We just couldn't figure out how to make it. It just didn't work for us. So if I have extra, if I end up not using these, you might get them. But when you open up your instructions, this very top flap, don't look at that just yet. You want to look at the, excuse me, you want to look at the very first panel that's visible as you lift it up. All right. This tells you what parts and pieces that you need for each card, right? So this shows an envelope. And let me just, well, here. So it shows the envelope. It shows the postage piece. And then you might notice this little white piece. That happens to be this smaller than normal card base. That is that piece on the instructions. All right. And then you use the little stem, the rose, and this random piece. So those are all the pieces that you need for this. And then we'll go on with the other ones. So what we did this afternoon, when you're looking at these instructions then, these two little pieces of tear tape, that's basically your white base, all right? So you put your tear and tape on there, and then the back of your postage piece is where this gets stuck. And then when you flip it over, you put the other elements on there. So you're right, Juju. We thought the rose was kind of bland as well. So we dressed ours up. And I know you did Wink of Stella on yours, and then you did embossing powder. How did the Wink of Stella still show? Because I've never done Wink of Stella first and then put embossing powder over it to emboss. So it did show a little bit. Okay. As soon as I saw you put the Wink of Stella on there, I'm like, yeah, that's a good highlight, you know, just to make it work a little bit better. And then I saw that you did the embossing on there, and it cracked me up when you said Riley would have whipped these out in a couple minutes, not followed the instructions at all. That's basically what she does. She just does her own thing. But she's visual. She'll look at the picture and get things pretty close. So anyway, what we ended up doing with this is we took, and I use a full-size ink pad just because it's easier for me. We took a blending brush, we picked up the ink, and we did some ink blending throughout the center of that rose just to give it some more depth. And then we did some of the alcohol markers. I don't know that it really enhanced it a whole lot, but it added a little bit of shading on there. And then I did do some Wink of Stella afterwards. So I don't know if you can see, excuse me, sorry. I don't know if you can see with the Wink of Stella on there. I'll try to change the lighting here. But I did the Wink of Stella like on not all of the petals, but kind of, yeah, I guess you can see it. It's hard. I'm waiting for my video to catch up. But you can see where I just kind of randomly put it on non-adjacent petals. And that does give it a little bit more depth. So that's that first card. And Juju, it probably took us about 27 minutes to half an hour to do that card as well. I don't even know how long that video was. But anyway, that's what these little pieces are for. It's so you can make a card. And then we ended up stamping. Riley said no, but I stamped it anyway. And then I added a little bit of ink blending on there with my blending brush. I don't want to do any alcohol markers because that'll show on the back. Okay, so phew, that card's done. And let's move on to the next card, which is this one. All right, so we've got an envelope that has a nice little place for you to put your address. We've got the card base. We've got, looks like one each of those flowers, one of these, and one of those. All right. Now, a lot of times what I will do with these is I will cut this in half, just a little. Oh, move it out. Sorry. Thank you. Is that good? Sorry, I forget that. So a lot of times what I will do is I will just cut these in half so that I've got two card fronts. And is that far enough or not? Okay. But then I'll have two card fronts and I'll have to add another base, but it gives it makes your card kit go a little bit further, right? Now, the other thing is when you are looking at these paper pumpkin kits, and I think on the other kits as well, on the back, there are QR codes so that you can see kind of Stampin' Up! Unboxing and putting the cards together. And then this one shows a link to get the add-on kit and other exclusive products. So sometimes they have a QR code to just do some basic stamping techniques. Hello, Scrapbook Sage, Dawn. Welcome. So those QR codes are helpful if you're not real familiar with the kits. All right. So let's go to the next page here. And this has the card going this way. All right. So we're going to go like so. I am not a fan of doing tinted cards. And the reason for that is that if people put them on display, eventually what happens, in my experience, is they flatten out. So I think I'm just going to do this as an upright card anyway. I'm going to do my own thing. All right. So the instructions will show you where to put tear and tape. It'll show you where to put dimensionals. Sometimes it'll show just a dot if there are glue dots. It shows you what to stamp and where. So instead of doing it this way, I'm just going to put those up on here. So let's go ahead and get a block. And I am going to put, let's say we've got airmail. And also the hearts. And obviously I do not talk enough during the day because when I come on here, it takes a little while for me to like get my voice going and get past that little cough. So I apologize for the cough. And I'm going to play lazy and I'm going to put these on the same block. All right. That ought to work. And I need to find my ink pad. Now, these have not been used yet, so I usually either wash them first or rub to get like some of my oils on there, mix in with whatever manufacturing stuff is on there. But then I'll take my Versamark and I'll just prime it. Basically, sometimes it helps diminish how much staining you have, so it might not be as dark. And if you let it sit, the longer you sit, the more if you let it dry a little bit, you might have less staining. I don't worry about it a whole lot, but I do seem to get better images when I put on the Versamark. And I'm just doing some light tapping here because I don't want to go squish, squish, squish. And we'll do airmail up here. And normally I would pull out my Pearson mat, my Stampin' Pearson mat. But since this is already folded and it's got 2 layers, it kind of gives me that little cushion padding. And then this one's going to come down here. And I usually like to just let it sit on here for a few seconds so the paper can absorb that ink. It may or may not make a difference. Who knows? All right, so then we're looking at this piece, and I already have the heart on here with the love, love, love. So we're going to go ahead and stamp that on. Oh, nice. Thanks for doing the introductions there. And then we have Suzanne from Arkansas too, although it doesn't look like she's here tonight. So this one, let's see where we're going to want to do that. If we do the sending love, maybe up here, we'll do our cancellation stamp over here. Okay, that's pretty cute. These stamps are going to be really versatile to use on other things. And then I also need just the stamp that says love. Do I have that off yet? Maybe not. No, I don't. And I did find a bunch of my stamps from last week's Thoughtful Thursday class. So this one I used already. I'm not going to go ahead and Versamark it again. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to pull in the piercing mat here anyway. And we're just going to put a little love on here. Hopefully that's straight. That works. And it doesn't matter to me. I haven't seen a difference if I wipe my stamps off right away or if I wait until I'm all done. They stain anyway. Anything with the reds in there, so any of the purples, any of the reds, some of the browns will stain. All right, so we've got that piece stamped, that piece stamped, and that piece stamped. So I'm just following these instructions here. The love is there and the love is on that circle. So now we're looking at putting our adhesives on. How am I doing for time? I know it's not a race, but I'm a putsy stamper. And usually it takes me a long time. Like Yesterday when we did the Adopt a Pet kit, I think that was yesterday, Sunday, whenever that was. I'm retired, so I lose track of time. We did the Adopt a Pet kit, and my granddaughter said, well, she would do two, and I would do two. She was through both of her two, and I was still putzing with my first one. So she was out. She came back, but she was out. Sorry, gotta grab my water. All right. So that's got tear tape. That's gonna go on here. I actually think that would have been better with dimensionals myself. So maybe on the next one. Maybe on the next one. Oh yeah, Riley beat me by a long shot. By a long shot. All right, so our little circle piece is going to have a couple of dimensionals. I don't even worry about it. All right, so the kit came with little ones. Sometimes I just like bigger ones. And we'll go ahead and put this on. And we're going to go over here. Just because I'm doing it portrait instead of landscape. And then we've got our 3 flowers. Now, these are all kind of plain. So these are going to, that'll go on top of that one. This one's going to go on top of this one. Wherever the shape lines up, I guess. Maybe the shape doesn't line up on that one. Maybe the shape doesn't line up on that one. Or if it does, I'm just not seeing it. I don't think I did the wrong one. Yeah, I don't think it's exactly the same shape. So that's just going to go on top of there. And then this one is going to go over here. So there's a third one there. These other two seem like they match up. I wonder what I'm just doing wrong. I'm not seeing that one. Interesting. Maybe I'll figure it out at some point. Or it just doesn't match and I'm weird. But those seem kind of light to me. So I think what I want to do is do ink blending on these two. Or these also. And what are we looking at for colors? Bubble bath. Bubble bath. Let me go get the bubble bath. Because I do not, whoops, I do not have that out here. I've got the bubble bath, but I don't know where my blending brush is. That's strange. I guess we'll just have to get another one. Maybe I didn't have one for bubble bath, but that would be unusual for me. Because I pretty much have a blending brush for each color because it was just easier for me. Let's get this little scrap piece out here. I just want these to have a little more color. And the center elements are metallic, they're gold, but I just don't think it's got quite enough. And then what we'll do is we'll take a tissue and buff off the gold. Does that look any better or not? It's hard to tell. I might have kind of lost those lines in there. Pretty in pink. Of course, I can always add more lines. I'm just going over where the lines were. Is that better or inconsequential? So maybe if I do these lines darker first. We'll see if that makes a difference. All right, well, it's good to know that that is a little bit better. We'll see how it looks now with that coming on first. That might have actually helped to do those highlights on the lines first, huh? All right, so let's do the same on here. And again, I am just putting my lines where the lines already exist, because any other time that we do any drawing with the alcohol blends to shade or anything, that's a good question. That changed not too awful long ago, Jeanette, that YouTube must have changed it so that whatever like your channel handle is, that you can't put it to be like whatever you wanted it to be. Because I think mine used to say something different when I've been on other pages too, but now it just follows whatever my handle is. I don't know if it's like privacy issues or what. I don't know. All right, so let's do a little buffing of those metallic pieces. Oh, so you can change it? Or you used to be able to? Yeah, I've not tried. I don't know. All right, so the other thing that I'm going to do with my little flowers here is I'm going to curl them with my bone folder just a little bit, because that way when they have the dimensionals under them, they'll have some automatic body. Oh, Facebook is like that too, but I think, is it like every 30 days? Or is that YouTube? I think it's Facebook. You can only change it once every 30 days. And it has to go through their little review with their whoever programmed their AI to do whatever it is that it does. All right, so crafting on the back 40 is Juju. Let's do these kind of in the middle. Oops, I guess I need another one here. All right, let's see how this looks. And that one goes here. I still wonder where that's supposed to line up. Weird. It's just going on there anywhere. I'm not going to worry about it. And this one seemed like it lined up when I first put it on. I think I like it better with the bubble bath enhancements as opposed to just the plain flower. Hopefully you agree. Yep. Juju. And I think, Juju, you caught the, yeah, you were looking at Riley's Adopt a Pet when she was naming all of those. CC, Bye Bye for Bye Bye Birdie, and then Lulu for the bird, and then the dog she named Diggy. But yeah, and I don't know if she was doing that Juju, CC, Bye Bye, Lulu. They were all the same. I thought it was kind of funny. All right, so here's card number 2. Now, the other thing that you may see some people do is with these envelopes, especially when they're printed like this all the way across, if you cut like a 1/16 of an inch off each of the sides and open it up, you could basically have some nice DSP kind of elements if you wanted to make alternate cards. All right, do I need to zoom out a little bit? All of a sudden it seemed closer to me. All right, so there's our second card. So let's go back here. All right, so here's the kit version, and here's what my eye prefers. Not a whole lot of difference, but the landscape and those, and we could probably use some Wink of Stella on here somewhere too, huh? But there's gold on here. I might add some Wink of Stella later, we'll see. All right, so there's that one. And then the last one is this one here. That is, oh, thank you, Jeanette. A lot of times when we just kind of, whoever's watching will give me suggestions. You know, I might give a couple of options. Oh, should we do this color or this color? And should we do it this way or that way? So we kind of do, it's not really like mystery stamping, but, you know, kind of collaborative. And then, yeah, one of the gals, it's on the tip of my tongue, came up with this hashtag for Team Lori collabs, like collaborates. You know, we all collaborate together. So that was kind of fun. So we try to do the little hashtag from time to time. All right, so this last one. All right, if we leave all of these pieces, all right, let me just pull out, I have all 3 here together, I guess. And I'll get rid of all of my extra pieces. So this kit does 9 cards, at least 9. All right. So we need the love. We need the postal cancellation stamp just for you. So the only one we didn't use is to brighten my day. Otherwise, I think we used all the stamps, unless I missed that somewhere, but it could certainly go inside the cards. All right, so this one, let's, oops, sorry. Whew. Zippity doodah. See, it was on the tip of my tongue, but thank you. All right, so here's another one, and I'm going to put a little Versamark on this right away. These other two stamps have already been stamped with, so I'm not going to worry about priming them. All right. So let's go ahead on here and put this stamp right on our stamp sheet. So if you've not stamped with me before, you know that I'm tapping my ink to my stamp rather than putting my stamp in my ink. A lot of times that's how you end up having too much ink on your stamps, is that you squish, squish, squish instead of tap, tap, tap. And again, I'm just going to hold this here for a few seconds so the ink can soak into the paper. And then this one is going to go in this blank spot here. And then we're going to do Just For You on here. And I try not to get my head in the way, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing, but sometimes it gets a little crooked that way, but I think that's all right. All right, I'm going to cover up my ink because otherwise I will likely have an accident there. All right, so then let's go ahead and fold and varnish this. That's ready. This we're going to start putting some dimensionals on each of the backs of the stamps. Now again, they gave us mini dimensionals. I'm just going to use the full-size ones. Usually I prefer using the mini ones because you get a lot more bang out of your buck. But on larger pieces like these, I prefer the larger dimensionals. I had to pay attention to where these perforated lines were. Now that one's kind of small. I probably could have used smaller dimensionals on there, the little minis. And I'm just pressing them on there good. And then we're going to go ahead and take all these backings off. And Juju was talking about how some people use their alcohol blends and oh, hi, Bon Bon. They use their alcohol blends to put lines on the back of the dimensional sheets because it does make it easier to see if you've picked off the backings. Obviously, on the black dimensionals, it doesn't matter because it shows up then. But you can if you angle it in your light, you can see if they're all got the sticky side showing, or sometimes I just end up touching them all. All right. So this is going to go to the top of the page. So I think what I'm going to do, I want to make sure that this is opening the right way. But I'm just going to stand these up and kind of butt the edges up together. And line them up that way. Not that it would matter a whole lot, I suppose. And then all we have to do is peel this backing off. And then we have a nicely spaced set of postage stamps. Nice. All right, and then this is going to go down at the bottom. And again, there's dimensionals on that. Now here the instructions are just showing 2 dimensionals, one on each end. I'm going to put one in the middle too, because I don't want that to collapse. And again, I'm using the big dimensionals. The kit came with little ones. Use whatever you like to do. Oh, Bonbon for me to come back from this afternoon? Yeah, I wanted to finish this and stay in the habit, you know? And, you know, I felt kind of bad because there's just a couple of extra pieces here. I felt a little bad this afternoon because my granddaughter wanted to do the kit and then she ended up not doing it. I'm out. Okay. There's just a couple of pieces on here. Yeah, Juju, you didn't do this one on yours, did you? There's just a little piece in here that is not, it didn't punch clean. And then a little piece over here. Do you like, you seem to like the postage effect though, right? Like the cancellation stamp in that? Just use all the stamps separate and do your own thing. You do you. All right, and then this little piece, you made, you did something with this, so I didn't, that's the part where I ended when you were starting to work on, I think this one, or maybe I went past to go near the end. I don't remember. I got through the first card for sure. But now this one with the flowers on it, I kind of like it without the flowers. What do you think? Should I put the flowers on here anyway, like the sample shows? Or leave them off? Juju does go rogue. I think that's an important skill to leverage, going rogue. You use the rose negative as a stencil and added the flower on top of that. So the rose as a stencil, that's a really good idea. I may not have any of those though, because my guest stamper may have cleared all of those out already. Although I could use the back of the rose. That's a good idea. I love the rose buds. Well, and I usually say that I have a difficult time following instructions. Lori from Minnesota, welcome. So I didn't see, did anybody say with or without the blue flower? So with, per the instructions, or without? Nobody's helping me out here, huh? Without. Oh, no opinion, Juju. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave them off. I think I'll use them for an alternate. Does the person you're sending it to like busy or clean? That's a very good consideration. That's a very good consideration. But this way, if I don't put it on, then that gives me another option for doing an alternate card. So I like the envelope on here too. So these envelopes are pretty cute. We didn't really do anything too drastically different on this one. You know what we could do though? We could put this on the inside. You like it both ways, Dawn? See, I think for me, maybe it's just that I like that cancellation stamp and the flowers kind of cover that up. And if you put the flowers other places, it covers up some of the other stuff. So I think what I want to do here is make another layer and use, we could make a little postage stamp out of that. We could make this into a card. You know, I'll just put the die over here and you probably can't see that very well because it wasn't shaped right. This is from one of the other cards. I'm going to save these. I think I'm going to save those. But we could still do like the perennial postage. We could make layers for inside all of these cards actually and do a nice little layer inside. All right. So the flowers do make it look really busy. I agree, Jeanette. And it's pretty, just like this one with that gold piece behind just looked kind of off to me. So this one, if you came in late, was supposed to look like this. It was supposed to look like that with this gold piece behind and stamping on the corners. Unless you cut the flowers like one little piece on the front. Right. You could cut that down. And I've done that a lot on little pieces like that. You could cut them up. And even if you wanted to put them on the inside, you could, you know, break off that. I mean, even that would be better maybe to have just that little piece on there. And then you could still put the other piece on the inside and it would kind of draw it together. That might not be so bad, hey? Put the little one on the front. That's kind of cute. And then it doesn't cover anything else. Yeah, this rose to me just looks really flat. This one looks more like it's got some dimension. All right, so I do have a difficult time following instructions, so I admit it. I wouldn't say I'm a rebel so much, but yeah. I try to follow the rules, just not always the instructions. So Lori, you like the plaid and you like the added coloring to the rose. So you like this gold piece with the colored rose. Yeah, this afternoon we just couldn't get it to jive with our vibe. You like that? It wasn't jiving with my vibing. All right, so I think that's all I have. We got done in less than an hour, 2 cards, chit-chatting, and discussing other options. So that's not too bad. Sometimes it takes me an hour and a half to do 1 card. Oh, thanks, Lori. Yeah, it was a collaborative effort. And you came in late, I think, unless you were watching from behind the scenes. But we put, after, I did an impromptu live this afternoon. My granddaughter was going to help me, and then she decided she was going to go peace out. But after I got done with the live, I decided to put some Wink of Stella on there. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but it really did enhance it. I have it on non-adjacent petals, so it gives that a little bit more dimension that way too. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and stick this on here because I do like it with that smaller flower. And I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue on the back of those flowers. And I don't think I'm gonna worry about the leaves so much. Well, maybe. I'll just do that upper leaf. And I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit and get translucent and let it become kind of like a sticker. Vicky, welcome. No butterflies today and no butterflies and what's your thing? Butterflies and hearts? What was the second one you told me yesterday? I don't remember. I have a good memory. It's just short. I used to have a better memory. It used to be longer. Oh, of course, roses. Pfft, looking me right in the face. So butterflies and roses. So Vicky, you're just catching us at the end. We did these 2 cards. This one I did with an impromptu this afternoon. Should we work on this one tomorrow night and do some alternatives? Or should I come up with something different? I've been doing kits the last few nights, so I don't want everybody to be bored with kits. Oh, a pink dance journal. Oh, I know how that goes, Vicky. The circle die with the heart in the center is the same as an old Stampin' Up! Set that had 5 circle stamps. So the circle die with the heart in the center. Is that like for the Valentine's one or something? I'm trying to think. But there are a lot of things from Stampin' Up! That kind of recycle themselves in time, you know. They get to where they're really popular and then they wane. And just for you here, just for you on the left. Oh, so like this one with circles? I don't know. Sometimes you guys can all laugh at me. Move the card. This card, the just for you. Because the the comments are delayed on the far left. So move this card. Okay. My other left or this left? So sometimes I can't keep up with the comments because they're delayed on my feed. So then you guys start making fun of me and stuff, and then when I catch it later, I'm cracking up sometimes because I was just so dense about something that I couldn't read. So the circle die with the heart in the center. Oh, this one is the same. Oh, yes. The white sheet has the picture of the circle stamp. So here, yes, this one. I'm with you now. I actually have like a little key fob. It's a little heart like that I've got on my keychain, similar to that with the heart cut out of the middle. Yes, I do remember something like that. It wasn't really all that long ago either, but you know, sometimes time flies and I forget. So any requests for tomorrow or later, 23 hours from now or whenever it is I come on? Any certain color palette, any certain new item? We're meeting friends for lunch tomorrow. And then we're having an after lunch dessert meeting with them because you know you may as well have dessert. But we're traveling together later this year, so we're going to do a little travel planning tomorrow afternoon. But then when I come home, I want to kind of clear out my stuff from the last mini catalog and update all my new mini catalog stuff. So what might we want to work with? Any suggestions, or we're just gonna let me wing it? I guess we could start with kit or no kit, because I could do one of the scrapbooking kits that I just got too, one of the new ones. Maybe the non-Valentine's Day one. Okay, nobody cares. Wing it. That's what I thought was going to come up. Alrighty, I'll wing it. Wing it or non-Valentine's, either way. Either way, I'll do non-Valentine's Day. Anything crafty kind of makes me happy. This is my happy space. All right, well, I think we're going to call it a night. My granddaughter is waiting. Well, she should be sleeping pretty soundly, but I've got a few hours where I can get some sleep in before we got to get up and get her to school, which is about half an hour away from us. So it's a little bit of a struggle when she sleeps over on a school day, but it is what it is. So thanks everybody for hanging out with me. Jeanette, thanks for coming back. Vicki, thanks for popping in. Lori, Juju, Dawn's here. We got a few other people. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Bon Bon. I'm just trying to scroll through. And here's where I get into trouble, because if I don't scroll all the way back, then I miss comments. And then you guys can start laughing at me. But thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the thumbs up too. And when I get myself caught up, I'll get some of these on my Facebook page too, my Lori's Little Bit of Crafting. And then you can add pictures of your stuff too, and we can share things there as well. So thanks for all the hearts, everybody. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And until next time, happy crafting.